We will return to your scheduled programming shortly, or we are currently experiencing technical difficulties.
What is going on, YouTube? Michael J. Crawford, the Anti-Trekker here. Good to see you all. And Thomas is back to his old antics, being first once again. But Reality Strikes comes in a very close second. Good to see you, Reality. And then DJ says second after Thomas, Reality, and myself all commented. Sorry, DJ. Charles is also here, as is James. Good to see both of you as well. And I just realized that I have this stupid thing up on the screen for no reason. That was stupid of me. It's kind of funny, though. Let me see. How do I get rid of that? Wow, my computer is all goofy today. Turn off there. All right, so one day I will beat Thomas Potts, says DJ. Well, that's probably going to be a while. And Thomas puts $1.99 and says, here's some money. Number 8, please. Obviously, Thomas typed that before he looked at the screen, or he might have realized that number 8 may not be what he thinks number 8 is. But is it or is it not? Well, we'll find out in just a second.
Anal na trach, was betad, doch jel dienle.
Ariel Natris Oris Bazi Bedhead Juchel Dementa. Yeah, I'm not gonna.
So, just to let you know where the origin of that is that is Bird of Prey actually reading that line from Excalibur on his chat. That was his best job trying to read it, so I had to do it. But so just poking a little fun at Bird of Prey until I get something else for the number 8 spot. To answer the question in your live stream, yes, we would care. We'd celebrate our asses off. That's okay. Fair enough. Your God is Nowhere says, is it a mushroom forest? Not sure what you mean. Or the forest that, well, yeah, that would make sense, actually. It probably is a mushroom forest. If Star Trek Discovery is canceled, Mrs. Anti-Trekker wins by not having you come to bed after 1 a.m. and drunk. That's true, Josh. That is definitely an advantage to it getting canceled. Are you a wizard? No, that was Joe. But I answered that in the chat already. All right, and so you did a Hercules Returns. Yes. Although you'll miss the lore kissing, well, I have a feeling it might pop up again. And Thomas says, now that I gave some of Foley, Uber Chat number 6. I was hoping you'd not pick that one, but all right.
I now pronounce you man and turd. You may now kiss.
Joshua, what are you doing?
Nothing! I'm definitely not making you kiss Law. I repeat, I am not making you kiss Law. I'm definitely not. Hello? Unfortunately, there's not going to be a part 4. Dad just fixed the computer, and he promises not to destroy it again as long as I don't do another one of those, so there's going to be no part 4. Wait, hold on, I just got a text message. Please do these videos. Part 4 is very anticipated. Nope! I quit!
So, there you go. Oh, man. Enderman of Doom is here. Good to see you, my friend. I thought I felt like the level of crazy around here had gone up just a smidge. So, good to see you, Enderman. And let's see. We need to get this fixed now. Come on. Hold on. Enderman's brain. And yes, Enderman, I think we would all agree at this point that Star Trek Discovery should be canceled. Thomas wants me to go back, read his line. Where is it? Well, your last comment is a shocked face. Unless I miss it. You need an animation, a bird of prey, best quotes. Wow. That would be a fun one to do. I did think it was funny, DJ, that you said it now that it's an Uber, it needs a part 5. I was just waiting for it to come around. You said the Enterprise C didn't use comm badges, right? I'm curious where you got that info from. Yes, absolutely. Hold on just a second. And let's see. Yesterday, Enterprise. Now, I based it on a couple of things here. First and foremost, the simple fact that they are wearing TOS era lapel pins. So you can see that the captain of the Enterprise C is wearing the exact same badge that Captain James T. Kirk wore. And as for the rest of the crew, well, they didn't even... well, now, of course, it doesn't want to load. Go back to... What? Let's see. Come on, load up. There you go. You see, this guy, he doesn't even have a badge on. So, yeah, there's... yeah, if they were using comm badges, well, I didn't notice them. Star Trek Discovery continuing to suck is great for the internet. First few episodes almost made it seem like they learned from season 1. Then episode 3 rolled around. Yeah. What's your poison today? Today we are doing a little bit of Crown Royal Vanilla. Not bad stuff. You know, Bird of Prey as a god controlling a tornado saying go for the schools. Yes. If you haven't seen Bird of Prey's streams, he's a sick man. He really is. Anti-Checker, that guy has a badge later when his captain dies. But does he have a badge like hers, or does he have a badge that he got from the Enterprise? After the last Discovery episode, I looked up comm badges of Memory Alpha, and apparently the insignia pins on the Enterprise C are comm badges. Well, I'll have to go back and rewatch yesterday's Enterprise. I haven't seen it in a while. But I based it purely on the design. Now, it wouldn't make much sense that they look identical to the old badges, but they're magically comm badges. But then again, you never know. I approve of the use of Crown Royal rye whiskey equals yummy. Yes, that is indeed. Have you any 1800? I do not. Why the fast brother? James, you lost me there. Bird of Prey got a mod to make disasters even bigger. Did he? Of course he did. Oh, man. And let me see. Chief Engineer Mr. Miles says, sent you a picture on Discord. Whoop, where did it go? There. That was weird. Let's see. Yeah, I do see that he has that badge at the end, but that looks like the TOS era badge once again. Now, Memory Alpha, don't get me wrong, Memory Alpha overall is a pretty good research tool, and for the most part, I trust them, but I would actually want to verify whether those are comm badges. I don't know that they actually ever showed them being used, but I'll rewatch the episode one of these days just to make absolutely sure. Trek viewers, did you see the name? Did you see the gave a name to Chief Engineer for the Enterprise? It is. They gave a name to the Chief Engineer for the Enterprise. It is. I don't know, what is it? Read my last comment. That's the name. No, I did not see that. So what did they say? If you had to pick, watch STD on rerun for a week or a vital cyanide capsule, which would you pick? I would pick the STD for a week. I mean, I know it's painful, but it's not death-worthy painful. I started another fast today, going 7 days without food this time. Darren, you are nuts. Have fun with that. Enderman says, so I can call you. I must have missed an earlier Oh, so I've been over there. I haven't been on the stream for a while. Well, you know, it's funny, Enderman, because a few days ago on our Patreon, well, a few days ago, it was, when was it? Yeah, was it yesterday on the Patreon stream? Whatever. We did a Patreon stream, and we had everybody come on to that wanted to come on to the call. Let's see. I don't remember them using them as a combat. I don't either, and that's the thing. And if they don't, I'm going to stick by my guns. If they do, fine, I'll retract. But if they don't actually use it as a comm badge, there's no reason to assume it is a comm badge since it looks identical to the badges worn in Star Treks 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Is it none? Not sure what you mean there. Mary is in the house. Good to see you, Mary. And says, just wanted to give you a special hello, Michael and Trigger, but I'm going to bed. I have to get up at 6. All right, Mary, thank you for dropping by. And thank you so much. I appreciate it. I know you're a busy lady, and just take care of yourself. That's all I ask. Enderman needs a district. Yeah, we're going to have to put a district in for Enderman. Oh, man. Using this as a lullaby to sleep. Don't go for too long. I need the phone to have some battery in the morning. I will try to remember that, Hector. Night Breeze is in the house. Says, hi. How you doing, my friend? Your God is Nowhere says, the engineer from the Enterprise... Oh, the engineer from the Enterprise on Discovery. Yeah, I remember they said a name, but... Oh, Non. That was the Non. Okay. Yeah, is it Nain, however you pronounce it. And should that have some special meaning other than the fact that we know that that's the engineer before Scotty? I'm wondering if Sulu is on the Enterprise, though, because they mentioned there's a botanist. Etrick, I don't think they ever used them as a comm badge, but that isn't enough for me to say they weren't comm badges. I didn't see them go to warp either. It doesn't mean they can't. But here's the thing, Mr. Mouse. So we know that the Enterprise C is, about 30 years or whatever, 20, 30 years before the Enterprise D. Fine. It is entirely within the realm of possibility that they had comm badge technology by that point. I would totally acquiesce to that. However, again, I'll bring it up on the Discord so everything can see it. That badge that she is wearing looks exactly the same as the badge that James T. Kirk wore. There is no reason to assume it is any different because she's also wearing the same tunic that James T. Kirk wore. She has the same rank insignia that James T. Kirk wore. Everything about their uniform is identical to the Star Trek 2 through 6 era except no turtleneck. And so there is no indication one way or the other. Now, based on that, which assumes the least, that the badge has simply been in production for a long period of time, or that they decided to come up with this revolutionary new technology and cleverly hide it exactly like the old technology. If Sulu is straight in the canon timeline and he was gay in the Kelvin timeline, what is she in the STD timeline? Female. I don't know. I'm writing a novel and I want your opinion on a character, communist commissaire of the Red Army that is family man and oftentimes questions his nation's domestic policy. Well, that could be interesting, depending. But you got to. I don't know what the story is or the plot points, but just the concept of centering a book around a Red Army soldier that's questioning whether or not what he's doing is the right thing could be interesting. So, did you hear about the $100 million lose that Brie Larson gave to Marvel? No, the $100 million lose. What are you talking about? And Night Breeze wants to see some Hypnoturd action. You got it, Night Breeze. All hail the Hypnoturd. You must give to the Hypnoturd. The Hypnoturd is life. The Hypnoturd is love. The Hypnoturd is in your brain and knows all. Kirk was a Jenner. Is that your theory? I didn't say Kirk. I said Sulu. Entric, the name that's given to the chief is Levour. Is that what it was? I could not remember. I remember they said a name. That's all I could remember. Wait, she's wearing Kirk clothes. That's weird. Well, no, she's just wearing that era uniform. Entric, I have a quiz for you and everyone. What all the captain's favorite drink? What are all the captain's favorite drinks? Ooh, okay. So I'll think about that for just a second. How much money would it take to get you drunk? Probably more than you can afford, Sci-Fi. And James throws a buck in. Thank you, James. I do appreciate it. Oh, the Bree said, screw the white men, so the projections are down. I don't think that you know what, Enderman? I do not believe for a minute that the box office is going to be significantly affected by Brie Larson's attitude about white men. I really don't. I think that there's paranoia about it, but I genuinely don't think that, actors are freaking nuts. Look at Tom Cruise, man. Tom Cruise went full on bat crap crazy on Oprah Winfrey's couch, and yet he's still making big hit movies. So whatever. What's the status of Joshua's new Mega Chat installment? Well, we just played the new the newest thing that's Uber Chat number 6 right there. When did you release Anti-Trigger? I saw a purse shaped like a... no, I never released any merchandise. They're stealing my identity. Darth Kilhoun says, alternate history where there's a giant pacifist communist state that is run down, that's like a rundown modern China. He commands a section of the border near the German Reich. That could be interesting. What is the name of the track you use at the end of your videos? I'm assuming it's from Epidemic Sound. It is, and I would have to dig up the file. I don't know off the top of my head, but I do like that one a lot. Check your Discord. Show it to Enderman. I hate when people say... All right, so Enderman is throwing me his latest, I don't know what you call that type of art. It's like an anime style. Come on. Hurry up and load. Don't be stupid, my computer. And so, there we go. There's Enderman's latest obsession is this chick. And he sent me a few pictures of her. And that's probably the least risque of them. So, Darth, it's you, says Gabriel. I'm not sure. Too many dumb white men will still watch it, says DJ. Well, here's the thing. If you saw my video, you know. I think that the whole, oh my god, it's an SJW nightmare, is overrated. 2, it's the new 8, says James. Oh, okay. So I was like, what are you talking about? You talking about this?
In deepest squat, on coldest seat, bite your lip and grab 3 sheets. In brownest night, in daylight too. Beware my power, Brown Lanterns, boom! Hey, didn't we do this joke already?
And yes, we did do that joke before. Every trailer points out that Captain Marvel's female. Well, that's good, because otherwise you might not know, looking at the shape of her body. All we have to do is get Anti-Trekker drunk is to make him watch the next STD. Well, shut up, Josh. I would hate hanging out with Tom Cruise, but I love The Last Samurai. Tom Cruise made a lot of good movies, and he is a hard-working man. But yeah, the man is nuts. Turning her into hero, yeah, I know. I hate that. But I think that's marketing, and because if you look at the movie itself, it doesn't seem like they're throwing a lot of that in the clips that they've shown, only in the rhetoric they're saying. So, and those are two different things. So we'll see. Jaegerbomb throws $5 into the chat, says, today is my birthday. Amazing how time flies. Hopefully time runs out for STD, LOL. Getting my hopes up for that prospect when I see Crappy Birthday. You absolutely can see Crappy Birthday. Well, let me bring that up for you. Crappy Birthday. There you go, Jaeger, and thank you, and happy birthday, my friend. How old are you? 100, 102. She doesn't even have nacelles. Yeah, I'm surprised. Enterman, yeah, going for a woman without nacelles. That's weird. Mr. Captain 93 says, WTF did I just turn into? Pumpkin? I don't know. Thomas was another $1.99, and thank you, Thomas. A soldier will be shot in that story. Hashtag bird. Okay, so you like Bird of Prey, do you? Let's see here. Oh, did I not change? Yeah, I didn't change the thing, so I gotta remember that.
I now pronounce you man and turd. You may now kiss.
What the heck? My whole thing's... That doesn't make any sense. Why is it doing that? Hold on. Uber chat. How bizarre. Hold on. Now my computer is wigging out here. Alright, so...
I now pronounce you man and turd.
How did...
You may now kiss.
That's not right. That's on number 14. Okay. Joshua, what are you doing?
Nothing!
There we go. Wow, I'm going to have to fix this.
Anal na trach, was betad, doch jel dienle.
Ariel Natris Oris Bazi Bedhead Juchel Dementa. Yeah, I'm not gonna.
I just love the way Bird tries to pronounce it and just butchers it. Alright, so give me just a... I don't know what happened, but my little Stream Deck thing went completely nuts here. So I need to fix this. So give me... I wonder why it did that. Okay, so let's go to top Alright. So, let's see. Mega Chat is correct. Uber Chat. Now it shows it correctly. And Super Chat. What? Okay, that's just bizarre. That is, I know you guys can't see it, but it's like the buttons all just switched. Okay. I'm not going to stress over it. let me try to get some caught up here. I'm confused. Those pictures are of a human, not a starship. Are you sure it's Enderman? No, I think that might be an imposter. I'm here. Hey, Alexander, Neelix is God. Nestle Neal is an amazing actress. Jar Jar Binks makes the best jokes in history. The Victorian Baboon Woman is Star Trek canon, and feel the burn. Wow, you're a weirdo. Too much running. Okay. Cruz has a Napoleon complex. Agreed. Check the Discord. All right, so. Dang it, Enderman, you know, like, I have nothing better to do than to put up a bunch of Discord stuff. Come on, load up. See, every time it slows me down. No more check Discord and show pictures unless you're paying me money. So this is the other one he gave me. I assume that's the same chick, lower resolution picture. Saw your lore video, well said, thank you. When is your online shop going to open near me? As soon as I possibly can. I'm still getting the anti-tracker layer back in order. You saw, you know, I've only gotten one freaking video back out since I've gotten back. I need to get back into the groove, and it's taken a little bit of effort because this has been it was a rough month. I'm not going to lie. Jagerbomb says only 30, jerk. I have arrived, says Mars. I'm here to watch Anti-Trigger pledge allegiance to the pink hairs of the United States of social justice. Not going to happen. He should also get a Mega 5 for his birthday. Yeah, I thought about that, but I don't know if he could handle that. James says, lore kiss tease. Yeah, when I was trying to fix the buttons. Sorry about that. All right. If I miss your comment, don't take it personally. I'm way behind. I got to get caught up here. Sorry, I was supposed to be tuned into. I log in and it's some scantily dressed cartoon chick. Well, yeah, that was weird because Enderman apparently is into humanoids now. Yeah, he said the words. Basically, he said the words. Yeah, yeah. I still think he gets a shot. Oh, the communist. Well, we'll find out when he writes the book. Reality throws $10 in. Thank you so much. Says, I hope they fix STD because I really want to keep Star Trek alive on TV. Agreed. I know that a lot of people just hate STD, but I would really like to see Star Trek continue. So yes, for your viewing pleasure, Mega Chat number 1 and a shot. Thank you, my friend. Well, that helps me get through it. The rest of y'all screwed.
I may have a It's not clean. Repeat, I do not have a clean Take the bloody
And there we go. Now we're back on. All right, so let's see if I can work on... Oh, man, I'm so far behind. Let's see. So I see an interesting list of people that could have gotten Captain Pike. A lot of interesting names there, but I'm not going to read that list. It's too long. All right, so Tom says he didn't hack it. No. Have you figured out the new webcam? No, it's still sitting here. I have not had time. Sorry. Did I tell you he's an adopted son of the president of my alternate communist state? No, well, you were telling that to Thomas, so I don't know if you told him, but interesting. Trigger, check out Discord for the list. Yeah, I just looked at it. Stream Deck wants Uber 6 to go back to the number 8 slot. Apparently, yeah, because it's so weird because it like keeps messing up. Let me go back. There's something weird is going on. I gotta mess with it. I don't want STD fixed. I want it gone. I want it erased from the collective consciousness. I want it to become like Star Wars Christmas special. I'd be down with that. I thought she was like Creed pretending to be human. Oh, Kree. No, she's a human that was taken by the Kree and genetically altered. Or that's one of the possible origins for her. And admire reality's optimism. I do too. I want it to get good. And Trigger, here's the favorite drinks. Yes. I'm so sorry. I completely spaced it, Chief. So yes, Kirk is the Saurian brandy. Which I actually have a bottle for over there, but I can't quite reach it. It's a Picard Earl Grey, that's obvious. Janeway Black Coffee, Cisco Ractigino, but what about Archer? Damn it, Reality, you couldn't ask for Airwolf. Enterman says, spread the word, by the way, that Prime isn't canon. I'm not going there, man. That is a big... First of all, that's not official. That's something... I know Midnight's Edge put out that big old thing about it, but until CBS puts out something that says it, it is not official. And besides that, I want to see it on screen. I really do. I don't think that there's any excuse for they need to put it as a major story point. No bones about it. The alternative is no Star Trek, which would suck. Yes, that is true. Damn, I came for that city game. Well, we can do a little bit of that too in a minute. You have 2 videos. You're right. I forgot about the Lore Reloaded one. Bring it on, says Yeager. Man, I don't... I gotta get caught up. All right. I saw your lore response video. Do you guys talk and settle everything? Well, we talked before I put that video out. That's why if you saw on Lore's channel, he put out an apology video. Are we playing Anti-Trigger? Yeah, I'm way the frack behind, so I'm just going to skip ahead because I'm not going to fall that behind. Let's see. Here's an idea. Just have CBS fire Alex Kurtzman, replace him with someone that knows what Star Trek fan wants to see and enjoy instead of all this far-left politics. Well, yeah. But the thing is, it doesn't even have to be someone who's a fanboy of Trek. It's just somebody who cares about the story first. That's the thing. Midnight After Dark is live. That's funny, yeah. Did you notice the lore calls you anti-tracker? Yeah, he does sometimes. But then so does Bird of Prey. But Bird of Prey has the excuse of being from New York. Lore is just doesn't know how to pronounce things. And let's see. Okay, so let me move this over here. And hold on just a second, guys. So I'll actually show you, I want to show you something here, and if I can get this stupid thing to work. Yep, that's where is the desktop? Too much crap on this computer. I need to. All right, we'll just have to. All right. Oh, so that is the. All right. So here is the game. CBS equals suck. That is 100% true, my friend. So what I was going to show you is, check it out. We've got the Eiffel Tower right here in Fauvarkland. So everybody should celebrate. Fauvarkland does indeed have the Eiffel Tower in it. You can also notice that there are trains that go all over the place. There's one of the trains right there. And the trains connect all the different parts. So like if we head over to Bird of Prey's area, which I forgot, we still haven't named, there's a bridge now for the trains to come over here, and you can see they go around his area too. And up here we have a train that goes between Dr. Alex's area, Darth Revan's area, and Lore Reloaded State Park, which is 3 dumps, a cemetery, and a train station. Oh, and a nuclear, or no, that's just a couple of crematorium, or no, those are garbage incinerators. Okay. So yeah. What are you gonna, where are you gonna put Performance Peak? I don't know. Should I put something in there called Performance Peak? Let's see. What is the name of the game? It's called City Skylines. And yes, Reality, I plan on putting as many of you guys in the game as you want, and at least as many as I can squeeze in here. So we have. Let's take a look at France again. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot. There's Mr. Miles's wrench. It's coming along very nicely as well, and you can see there are trains that go up and down the wrench. So I'm very proud of my train system here. Did I download your... I'm not sure which building you mean, Thomas, but I now that I know how to download buildings and stuff, I will. Darth says, I thought that would be my plot. I'm down for it. I want to see what you do with it. The list includes Leslie Nielsen, Robert Stack. Robert Stack, I could see. That would be interesting. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm very proud of the wrench. Mr. Miles finally gets his wrench. It's the Mr. Miles statue. Oh, yeah. Mr. Miles is very arrogant. So this is Mr. Miles' house right here. And you see he has a he has a train station just for his house. And he has a statue of himself in front of his house. Oops. And somebody built a house next to him. That will not do. There we go. They built a house on top of the fountain that I put there. That makes no sense. But Mr. Miles wanted a house that oversees all of his inferiors. The police were thus there. Yeah, well, he's got his own police force. I mean, keep in mind, this is a independent nation, and it's much like Cuba. Everybody else hates them. The nuclear power. Well, the thing is, I was thinking about putting nuclear power plants on there, except that over here in Fauvarkland, because this is France, and by the way, notice that all the buildings around this square are all French buildings, by the way. You have Notre Dame, I can't remember the name of the other cathedral, of course the Eiffel Tower, but most importantly, since it is France, lots and lots of nuclear power plants, because... is that a wrench-shaped island? It is. Where are all the pot farms for Wrench Island? Well, I haven't downloaded a pot farm yet, so thank you for reminding me. That's one of the many things that I have to do. But what's most important as far as the Eiffel Tower is to really see, I think the question that everybody is really wondering is, how is the Eiffel Tower strong enough to take a tsunami? Yeah, where are the yellow vests? That's a good question. They should have an add-on for, like, yellow vests. They absolutely should. So now, of course, we got to wait a couple of minutes for the tsunami to hit. And so we'll relax and leave the screen right here while we're talking. A building in Lukeland doesn't have water. They kind of flash up. There's water running everywhere. It's just, oh yeah, oh, I see what you mean up there. I think I might have forgotten to run the pipes. Well, shoot, not going to make much difference right now because the city's about to have a lot of water. Why can't YouTubers be like Irish Trekkie and Trek Collector? They're so positive about everything. They never attack anything. It's the opposite of Midnight's Edge. and Mecha Random. Well, here's the thing. First of all, now Mecha Random is a friend. Midnight's Edge I've never talked to. I've only listened to a couple of their videos. And it's hard. It is, Daniel, it is so hard to be positive right now with the state of Trek. And you've seen me. I go on a complete and utter tirade whenever I watch Star Trek Discovery. That being said, I think that I'm riding the line between the love-hate thing with Star Trek. On the one hand, I get extremely, of course, my reaction to the comm badge last week was so stupid that Nerdrotic had to include it in his video. But the thing is that it's just so hard to be positive when the show is so bad. But I'm still trying to, even though I go on complete and utter rants and rages about what's in the episodes, I genuinely want the show to get good. So how much of the city will be flooded? I genuinely have no idea. I've never been able to successfully launch a tsunami, so we shall see shortly. And in fact, like right now, I don't even see any evidence that there is a tsunami. So I think we might just have to do something else here, because I don't want to be bored out of my mind waiting for a tsunami. But you know what we don't have to wait that long for? Meteors. And the nice thing is, a meteor impact in just the right place will in fact cause a tsunami. Since I'm from St. Louis, and you need the arch, I can probably do that for you, Reality. So you have to remind me when you get to. Tsunamis are tricky in the game. It seems like it. You can't get them to work. If we want you to become Emperor Rage-wise, you could just...
Astrologists report that a devastating meteor will strike the city.
A devastating meteor is going to hit, according to astrologists. Oh, there it is. Now, you see, that doesn't look like it's that bad. I mean, it didn't do any direct damage to Fovarkland.
Avoid the impact site and head to shelter if any is available.
Yeah, that doesn't look good.
The Coast Guard is warning of a tsunami approaching the area. Residents should avoid roads and waterfronts. A tsunami has struck the city. Take caution and avoid roads and waterfronts until the water recedes.
So yeah, that's a big wave. So we'll see how much of the city it manages to. It's causing a lot of problems. But amazingly, people are. Oh, look at that! Look at that! You can see the cars being washed away. Look at that! Oh, the humanity! Oh man, look at that. But amazingly, the Eiffel Tower is still standing. But the flooding, jeez, a lot of people dead there. So we need to just put these French people out of their misery. Because, they're French. Alright, so once we get rid of that, then we'll shut the game off, because I know you guys don't want to just watch me play a game. So here's an idea to fix Discovery, just so the whole TV show, but just a dream, and have Michael Burnham wake up from it. Well, the problem... Good night, all, Anti-Checker, and I mean Norm! Good night, Check Review, you have a good one. Why would the cemetery need water? Well, you gotta have water for the drinking fountains, I suppose. I don't know. So yeah, the waters are receding. It looks like most of the people of Fovarkland have survived, so that's good. So I don't think we don't have to worry about Luke or anybody anymore. He's good. All right, so we don't need any of that. All right, so it looks like the houses are complaining because a lot of them are flooded. Midnight's edge theory does kind of fit canon. Well, it does, but the problem is that, and this is the thing, a lot of people are claiming now, and this is actually what started the whole thing with me and Lore Reloaded. A lot of people are claiming that what Midnight's Edge said is, in fact,
a tsunami has struck the city. Take caution and avoid roads and waterfronts until the water
Why is it saying a tsunami has struck the city when there's no tsunami in the... Oh, I see. Maybe it's because
will strike the city in the near future.
It hit it ended some of the tsunami. Look at that. It's hitting Bird of Prey's area. Poor Bird of Prey's people. How's that train driving through the water? Look at that.
Immediately, if any is available.
So anyway, look where the ocean comes into the map. I'm not sure what you mean. Oh. Well, I think the Eiffel Tower's about had it now. There we go. There we go.
Avoid the impact site and head to shelter if any is available.
So I think that yeah, the people of we've lost a few thousand people now.
A meteor strike has occurred.
But anyway, so the Midnight's Edge thing, a lot of people actually just assume now that it is canon, and that's a problem.
Report that a devastating meteor will strike
I think what they
the
need to
near
do.
Future.
There is not a Sharknado option, although I'm sure that someone should come out with a mod for a Sharknado. Because that would be freaking awesome. The Sharknado thing, or the Midnight's Edge thing, I would like that to be true. I mean, I put out my video about what I think they should do with the timeline, and I do take it one step further, where I include Enterprise in with Discovery in the alternate timeline, and that I think actually makes even more sense. But yeah, I can see Bird of Prey saying, "You want water? Well, here comes a tsunami." Yeah, boy, that shark. I'm speaking of sharks. My little shark fish is just like being a camera hog today. Yes, Bird of Prey is a psychopath, just so you all know. And he's probably watching. Well, he's not watching now, but he'll be watching in the morning. And he knows I'm kidding around with him when I say, "Alexa, call Mom. Alexa, set alarm 3 a.m. Alexa, set alarm 4 a.m. Alexa, set alarm 5 a.m. Alexa, black alert." Don't sully Enterprise by putting it into alternate timeline. That wasn't the intention of the show's creators. I know it wasn't the intention, but you know as well as I do, Darren, and I know you love Enterprise. I know you do. And I like Enterprise. I am not an Enterprise hater. But it simply makes more sense to put Enterprise in an alternate timeline, because regardless of the fixes that they put into it in season 3 and season 4, despite that, it still breaks the timeline. You still have clear-cut Starfleet history that cannot happen if Enterprise existed at all. Alexa, count to the nearest 1,000 of pi. And the thing is that Enterprise and yeah, Discovery makes any prior Discovery makes Voyager look great, and you guys know Voyager is my least favorite of the older Trek shows. Don't you just love line systems? Line up and get a ticket that lets you in line to wait and get inside a line to buy stuff. Yes, that's always fun, I guess. Anyway, there's a big difference between Enterprise canon violations at Star Trek Discoveries. Enterprise we regard as mistakes by the production staff. And Darren, don't take me the wrong way. I'm not trying to say there was any maliciousness. I'm not saying that there was any wrongdoing or mean-spiritedness in the Enterprise concept. However, this is where they needed to rethink the timeline a little bit. If Enterprise had taken place, say, about 50 years later, it would have been fine. The biggest problem with Enterprise is Enterprise itself. It's not even the fact that they ran into cloaking devices or holographic technology or any of the things they ran into too early, right? That's all secondary stuff that you can figure out ways around. The Enterprise itself could not have existed the way that it exists in that series. Remember that there's two major events that cannot happen because of the events of Enterprise. One, the Federation-Romulan War. Cannot happen. Two, the Federation-Klingon War. Cannot happen. And, of course, thanks to Discovery, it really is messed up. Maybe you should do a video explaining why you think Enterprise isn't canon. I may do that, but I just want Darren to know that I don't think that Enterprise is a crappy show. But it does actually, it would help Discovery and Enterprise to put that in an alternate timeline. By their own omission, Enterprise showrunners were fans of TNG and had only minimal knowledge of TOS. Well, and that shows, unfortunately. Make sure you watch the end of the Bird of Straight Train today. Sorry, but not really. Uber chat number 6. Then, yes, and so for those of you that have joined after we played this before, Uber chat number 6, something, you might think it's the old thing, but you might be wrong.
I now pronounce you man and turd. You may now kiss.
Joshua, what are you doing?
Nothing! I'm definitely not making you kiss Law. I repeat, I am not making you kiss Law. I'm definitely not. Hello, unfortunately there's not going to be a part 4. Dad just fixed the computer and he promises not to destroy it again as long as I don't do another one of those, so there's going to be no part 4. Wait, hold on, I just got a text message. Please do these videos, Part 4 is very anticipated. Nope, I quit.
Get him.
Sing it! Sing it! Sing it!
There it is. The epic adventure. And so, now, I know, Darren, you were asking a couple of times about why it doesn't fit, but someone actually already answered while that was playing. The Renegade mentioned because Enterprise had phase cannons and photonic torpedoes, not primitive nuclear weapons. And that is a direct contradiction to established history in Trek. And so it would be, the problem is that you cannot have a Starfleet running around with ships with that kind of weaponry, not to mention the fact that there was another plot point of Balance of Terror. There was no such thing as ship-to-ship visual communication. All right? So, Zachary says, how you doing? I'm doing all right, my friend. Good to see you. And Raptor1 says, horrible and awesome. Yes, to be tortured by watching Lore singing. Yes, that would be horrible and yet strangely awesome. Hey, Foley hasn't been on in a while. What's up with that? I don't know. Foley's been greasing his chest or something. I haven't talked to him in a little bit. So hopefully he's doing okay. I wish him nothing but the best. You guys know he's a friend of the channel. I know that he might be a little turned off by the fact that I've been so negative on Star Trek Discovery, because obviously Foley doesn't love Discovery, but he doesn't think it's vile like I do. Totally unnecessary to put Enterprise on another timeline. Spock's line from Balance of Terror doesn't prove anything other than Spock was incorrect, which he occasionally was. Except that Spock was telling everybody to review their history. Okay? It's not like Spock was making a slight error in calculation. They were very, very specific that there was no ship-to-ship visual communication, that they had to fight in primitive ships using nuclear weapons. I don't think that would be like, I mean, come on. If you were to say, well, World War II was not fought with our modern weaponry. It was fought with schooners and sailing, and they had cannons and muskets, right? That's how off you're saying Spock was. And I don't buy that Spock would miss out that grotesquely historically. Never watched Enterprise. It's actually not a bad show. It really isn't. There's some serious canon problems, but it's a good show. Anti-checker, I'm torn on seeing things like comm badges and pre-TOS error. Just don't like it, but it's the same. If humans are achieve faster than light transport, faster than light travel on transporters, but comm badges technology is too advanced for something that's too wrong. Same with nuclear-powered ships. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. You're as far as the comm badges, you're absolutely. I mean, look at communications technology today, right? We got this. And Alexander says we need a Star Trek tank war. It would be cool. I wonder what a tank would look like in Star Trek. That's interesting, but I can't quite picture it. But anyway, what I was going to say is that, oh gosh, now I'm completely losing my train of thought. Where was I? Spock also said the Klingons don't have tear ducts. Enterprise also never showed ship-to-ship visual communications with Romulans. Right, but he said there was no ship-to-ship visual communication. Not that we didn't have it with the Romulans. He said that they had nuclear weapons. Nowhere in sight. And by the way, the Romulans were still using nuclear weapons in the 23rd century. So let me tell you, if nuclear weapons had been phased out for at least 100 years, why would they keep them around on their ships still for self-destruct? Foley's on Canadian time, so another world than us. That's true. Trekyard City YouTube. Let me move this over here so I can read it better. Trekyard City YouTube line live of their favorite Star Trek movies. What is your favorite? I would actually say the trilogy of 2, 3, and 4 were my favorites. That's a great pick. The 2, 3, 4. In fact, you just go 2, 3, 4, 6. That's an awesome quadrilogy there. If I have to pick a favorite right now, I would probably pick Star Trek 2. I would put Star Trek 6 in a not-too-distant second. Everything else is not even close. So, yeah. The only Trek show I dislike is Discovery. The rest of Trek I really like. Well, I'm kind of with you there. As far as... even though, I mean, I complain about Voyager. I complain about some things on Enterprise. But, yeah, the only Star Trek show I actually dislike is Discovery. I think you're misrepresenting Spock's lines. I'll tell you what, Darren. Let's settle this right now. Sci-Fi Sith says, read my last comment. All right, but then give me a minute, guys, because we're gonna be digging deep into this. And would you play Star Trek Discovery between TOS and the Next Generation if you had the option to fix the Star Trek timeline? No. Based on the production designs of Discovery, I would set it post Voyager. But okay, so Star Trek 4 is and always will be the best Trek. Star Trek 4 is a fun movie, but I still think Star Trek 2 is the best of the bunch. All right, so give me a minute, guys. I cannot see the chat right now, so just so you know, if I miss your chat, it's not because I'm ignoring you. It's because we are going to be settling some differences here. All right, let's go to science fiction and Star Trek and the original series. And where are you hiding? I can never remember the episode numbers of anything. Tomorrow's yesterday. Alright, let's just do this. We'll just go back and search for it. Raptor thinks Star Trek 6 is the best. I'm not going to lie. Depending on my mood, there are times when I'll say Star Trek 6 is the best. There are times when I'll say Star Trek 2 is the best. But clearly, in my mind, Star Trek 6 and Star Trek 2 are the best. Alright, so... Alright, now what am I doing? I'm getting Discord monitor set up. Alright, so here we go. This is, of course, Balance of Terror. Ah, look at that. Found the scene. Alright, let's see.
Now show our position.
Alright, so...
Signal this to all decks, Lieutenant.
Alright, so we're getting there. We're getting there. I know, DMCA, gotta watch out for CBS. They hate me.
Listen carefully. Science officer.
Alright. So, we're now going to get the briefing that Spock gives the entire crew. I don't remember if this has subtitles. Nope, this one doesn't, so we can't put it up on the screen.
Referring to the map on your screens, you will note beyond the moving position of our vessel, a line of Earth outpost stations. Constructed on asteroids, they monitor the neutral zone, established by treaty after the Earth-Romulan conflict of over a century ago.
All right. Problem number one with the... so is the volume low on that? Let me bring it up a bit. So what he just said was that if you look at the map, you'll see that's where the outposts are and everything. Then those outposts were put up after the war, which ended over a century ago. Over a century ago would make it before the events of Enterprise. But I digress. Let's move on.
As you may recall from your histories, this conflict was fought by our standards today with primitive atomic weapons.
Primitive atomic weapons.
And in primitive space vessels.
And primitive space vessels. Now, while the NX-01 Enterprise is not as advanced as the 1701 Enterprise, you would not call it primitive any more than you would call like if you're in a modern destroyer today and you look at a destroyer from the 1960s, you wouldn't say it was primitive, but if you were looking at a schooner, you would. All right, so we're talking about generations of technology. And you're right, Sci-Fi Sith. Gene Roddenberry hated 2 and 6 because it focused on the military, and he didn't like that, which is ironic because he served in the military. All right, so let's keep going.
Which allowed no quarter, no captives, no...
All right, here's the important line.
Was there even ship-to-ship visual communication?
There was no ship-to-ship visual communication. Not... We never established visual communication with the Romulans. There was no visual communication at the time.
Therefore, no human, Romulan, or ally has ever seen the other.
All right, so the humans, the Romulans, and the allies never saw each other during this war. All right? So... And don't get me wrong, Darren. You know I love you, and I like Enterprise. It's a good show, but you cannot reconcile that with the NX-01 existing less than 100 years before that. And at the time that the NX-01 was around, there had not been a Romulan war because they never even heard of the Romulans yet. And that's the thing, Charles. If it would have made more sense if they said that there was a war prior to the events of the Enterprise series. But first contact with the Romulans was in the Enterprise series. So no, that doesn't work. Nothing Spock just said justifies putting Enterprise in an alternate timeline. He said there simply was no ship-to-ship visual communication, not that they didn't have the capability. Darren, I know you want Enterprise to be in the prime timeline. It doesn't make sense. There was no visual communication in this, is the direct context. Yes, thank you, Mr. Miles. I hate to say this, but Mr. Miles is correct. There was no visual communication is in direct context of fighting the Romulans, is what you mean. That's not evidence they didn't have face-to-face. He said there was, look, I'll play the line again.
Primitive atomic weapons and in primitive space vessels, which allowed no quarter, no captives. Nor was there even ship-to-ship visual communication. Therefore, no human, Romulan, or ally has ever seen the other.
There was no visual communication, period. Not just between humans and Romulans, because the allies and the humans and the allies and the Romulans never saw each other either. Alexander says, okay, but my favorite Star Trek movie is Final Frontier. Sybok is so cool. You would definitely say that. Enterprise did not depict first contact with the Romulans. Well, when I say first contact, I don't mean like in an official sense, but they ran into the Romulans. They didn't know who they were. Thoughts on USS Relativity series to replace STD? I don't know enough about the Relativity to give an opinion on that. Is that a thing, or never heard of it? But in the meantime, reality, you know the rules. You can pick a super chat reward. But yeah, I honestly don't know anything about the USS Relativity. There was no visual communication. Let's see. Well, that's the same comment you put a minute ago. Enterprise wasn't great, but it deserved another season. I agree. I actually, yeah, I wouldn't call it. It's like I don't go, ooh, Enterprise is my favorite. But season 4 was getting so good. If the whole run of Enterprise would have been like season 4, it probably would have been my second favorite show behind the original. What's your theory on why Drayton Roddenberry hated the military, even though he joined the military? Heck, he stated to include it. He hated to include it in Next Gen, even though Starfleet is a military. Yeah, I think it's because he's trying to sell himself. Well, he was trying to sell himself as a communist, and that he was all into kumbaya and liberal progressivism and all that. And that is in direct conflict with the idea of being pro-military. And people change. Ronald Reagan, who many consider this horrible right-wing whatever, was a flaming liberal in the 60s. So it's entirely possible that Gene simply changed his position after he got out. And no, Darren, he said there was no ship-to-ship visual communication. He didn't say, and when they fought this war, those specific ships didn't have visual communication, but everybody else did. That wouldn't even make any sense. Why wouldn't they send their most advanced ships into the war? Star Trek 10 is good, especially the battle. Now you got to make me count. All right, so 6, and Generations was 7. First Contact was 8. So you're talking Nemesis. I actually thought Nemesis was all right. It wasn't my favorite, but I did like bits and pieces of it. Enterprise and STD is not canon, period. Well, there's a lot of conflicts, and that is a problem. And Reality wants cheap bleach from Voyager to time travel episodes. I'm not sure what you mean by the Voyager thing, but I can definitely make some cheap bleach work. Hope. I gotta figure out why one of those... Yeah, I gotta figure that one out. All right.
Hey, you want to learn about Jesus?
There's no such thing as hooker-client confidentiality.
And that is true. Not all vets are patriotic gung-ho guys, but most veterans are not anti-military. And Gene was notoriously anti-military, especially in the 70s and 80s. Relativity is 29th century time ship. Oh, okay. Honestly, well, like, while that could be interesting, I would rather see them just focus on a regular old starship. Just don't, it ain't broke. Don't fix it. Use the same formula that's worked. We need to reintroduce the people to Star Trek. Let's do Star Trek. Let's not try to do something new. Let's try to recapture what works, and then we can branch off from there. Cybok is laughing all the time. He had only good intentions. Well, he did have good intentions, but the man was a psycho. There you go again. Yes, Thomas throws $4.99, says, actually, a Romulan did meet Archer in the Vulcan three-parter. Archer didn't know, though, but I believe Enterprise is canon. Well, and that's the thing. I know they worked very carefully in Enterprise to avoid having them recognize a Romulan, what a Romulan looked like. But the problem is there's a big difference between, you know, okay, let me put it to you this way. If I said, you know, back in World War II, we didn't have cellular communication. Did I say we didn't have cell phones, or did I say we didn't use it in the battle? Because that's what Spock said. But I believe, Uber Chat number 6. Oh, you're just going to get all obsessed with Uber Chat number 6 now, aren't you?
I now pronounce you man and turd.
Loud.
You may now kiss.
Joshua, what are you doing?
Nothing! I'm definitely not making you kiss Law. I repeat, I am not making you kiss Law. I'm definitely not. Hello, unfortunately there's not going to be a part 4. Dad just fixed the computer and he promises not to destroy it again as long as I don't do another one of those, so there's going to be no part 4. Wait, hold on, I just got a text message. Please do these videos, part 4 is very anticipated. Nope, I quit.
Get him.
Sing it! Sing it! Sing it!
By the way, notice Captain Foley there is in fact shirtless and extremely shiny. You should be able to recognize some of the others there, but I'm not going to name them all right now because that's half the fun. Night Breeze says he agrees with me, but the first contact thing in Enterprise doesn't not exclude because Spock said neither race saw each other. Oh, I'm fine with that. As far as, you know, technically first contact with the Romulans, you could say, was Balance of Terror because that's the first time they ever saw each other. But, you know, yeah. Going to the com badge issue, yesterday's Enterprise, took me a while to find it, but at 37:45 of the episode, we see Castillo use the insignia pin. I will check that out. Give me just a minute. Let me see. Demetrius says, what do you think of the upcoming Section 31 episode? And thank you for the $1.99, Demetrius. Honestly, it's just going to be Discovery 2.0. It's just going to be Discovery, but with Michelle Yeoh as the star. So I'm not particularly excited unless Discovery takes a serious turn to improve. Because right now, I'm just done with the way that they're doing things. I wouldn't mind so much if they just wouldn't so blatantly be ignoring canon. I mean, it's one thing like we may bicker about the whole thing with Enterprise as far as the canon stuff. However, they go out of their way to break canon on Discovery. And I have no reason to think they're not going to do the same thing for the Section 31 show, but we'll see. I will watch it. I will hope that it'll be good, but we'll find out. What am I watching? Good question, Michael. You are watching me, and my name is Michael as well. That's meta. Maybe Darren started a thread on the website. Oh, yeah, you could. That'd be a worthy discussion. No human being saw or communicate visually with a Romulan on Enterprise. You can make someone who doesn't want to see you. Visual communication is not taking place, what Spock was saying. That's not what Spock was saying, though, Darren. You are inserting more meaning into it than there is. He said there was no ship-to-ship visual communication, which is why no Romulan, human, or ally saw each other. If there was ship-to-ship communication, just not between us and the Romulans, why would we have never seen the Vulcans at that time? See what I'm saying? Now, again, I'm not hating on Enterprise. You know that. But let's see. So was that 37? Let's see if I can find it here.
Death in the other timeline.
Yeah. Mission ground. All right, so I'm going to attempt to bring this up. Spock did not say no ship. No, he said no ship-to-ship. There was no ship-to-ship communication. If I say there was no telephone, you know what I'm saying. I'm not saying that I didn't make a phone call to my sister. I'm saying there were no telephones. Okay, there's a difference. In the way he phrased it, it's clear as day what he's talking about. I really don't know why you want to argue about it, but I mean, we can argue about it. It's okay because we're friends, but I think it's absolutely crystal clear what Spock was saying. And everybody assumed that there simply wasn't ship-to-ship visual communication until Enterprise came along. And, oh, look, I guess we have ship-to-ship visual communication. And so, well, Spock really meant something else. No, he didn't. I suddenly want some Earl Grey, yes, with Picard sitting there. All right, so now you said 3745. This is a 3744 right here. So let's see. All right, so there's Castile. Oh, you're right.
70% efficiency.
Although that makes no sense. It did it make it? Did they even make a sound effect? I'm gonna go back. Let me turn it up a little.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. It's the exact same sound as a comm badge from 50 years later. That's stupid. And look at the phaser that is a TOS era phaser. That is the phaser prop that they used for Star Trek II. I never noticed that one before. I mean, I knew he wasn't wearing the belt for some random reason, but I never noticed that he had a Star Trek II phaser. All right, let me shut that down. Okay, Sci-Fi says, please read my last one. All right, Sci-Fi, let me... the USS Relativity was a time ship that was in Star Trek Voyager, the patrol timeline to make sure... Yes, someone said that earlier. And no, I would not want to see a show about the time ship. It would just be Quantum Leap and Trek. I think the Enterprise C is about 20 years before TNG. I thought it was a little more than that, but I'd have to go back and rewatch it. Natasha Yar's Russian. I love Russian girls. Of course you do, Alexander. I think the problem is perception. TOS, for budget reasons, had ships combating thousands of kilometers apart, realistic, which would make real-time comms difficult. Yes. Post-80s shows have ships practically on top of each other in combat. That's very true. Star Trek the original series, for the most part, dealt with combat much more realistically than other Treks, and that's something I appreciate about them. Typically, firing range was about 100,000 kilometers. The mistake you're making is that you're misrepresenting communication as communication technology. Spock is saying no visual communication took place. No, Spock said there was no ship-to-ship visual communication. He didn't say we didn't talk to him. And so I don't know why you're insisting on that. You're basically just trying to insert a new meaning into the sentence so that it fits what we saw in Enterprise. Now, the Enterprise C was 22 years. Thank you. And so, but it's still, yeah, it doesn't make sense that why then does Castile have a 60-year-old phaser and a 60-year-old uniform, but it's a comm badge apparently. Whatever. Earlier, you were in the middle of responding to my comment about fast and light travel, but your comm badge tech is too advanced. You never finished your thoughts. Oh, shoot. What was I saying, Mr.? What were you? We're really trying to break canon, but it's closer to reality with technology. I know that is a problem, Mr. Miles, is that I am not saying that that it wouldn't be realistic for them to have comm badges, but it seems pretty clear what Spock meant. If you look at the text of what he said, he was speaking specifically that there was no such thing. Just like he was talking about the tech through that whole thing. He was talking about primitive ships, nuclear weapons, no visual communication. Now, he didn't say we fired nuclear weapons, but we had phasers. No, he said that they had to use nukes. Anyway, but what were you asking about the faster than light travel? Because I don't remember that, Mr. Miles. Maybe I'm just too tired, but I don't remember what you were asking. So throw that at me again, and I will try to give it another shot. He didn't say Starfleet used nukes. Okay. So then the primitive atomic weapons. But yes. They used atomic-powered weapons. Now, could it have been an atomic particle beam? Sure. But that's not a phase cannon. We know that Romulans used them from that episode. No, in fact, in that episode, he says, the Romulan commander says, do you have any of the old-style nuclear warheads? And the Centurion said, only for self-destruction. So they don't use them regularly as weapons. He laid a trap using a nuke that they keep on for blowing up their own ship, which doesn't make a lot of sense, but whatever. Just wondering what happened to the infantry-style combat uniforms like the ones at DS9 episode where they had a land battle. Random thought. Yeah, good question. They just didn't like them, I guess. They had Chekhov's nuclear vessels. Yes. Anti-Checker, I was mentioning that if combat technology is too advanced for a culture with faster-than-light travel and transport, something is terribly... Well, yeah, that... Okay, so you're right, and that's where kind of what I was talking about a minute ago. It is perfectly realistic to assume that, heck, I would be willing to wager that 50 years from now, you could easily be wearing a lapel pin that you could tap and talk to someone clear as day, right? No problem believing that, especially considering this doodad, right? But also, do not confuse the real magic of communicators compared to this, because Captain Kirk's communicator looks like a primitive flip phone by today's standards, right? But it is way more advanced than this smartphone right here. Not because of what it can do as far as surfing the net or playing, Candy Crush. Obviously, you can't do that on a communicator. But you know what you can't do with a cell phone? Call a ship in high orbit above the planet without a cell tower. The communications range on the communicator is ridiculous compared to modern technology. And I'm sorry, Darren, temporal Cold War doesn't fix anything because, and I know that that's what they were heading for with Season 5, but they didn't do it. And if we had gotten a Season 5 of Enterprise and they had followed through with what they've said where they were going to fix the timeline, Awesome. That would have been great. Unfortunately, we never got that. So, let's see. Bet they go longer in a day than a day on a charge too. Yes, absolutely. Because they've actually had where they've been on away missions for days at a time, and the communicators they never said, "Oh, we need to plug it in." No. I think Enterprise's canon, the temporal Cold War, created ripples in the space-time continuum and created Enterprise. Well, that's just another way of saying it's an alternate timeline. Same thing. If you want to say that after the temporal Cold War gets fixed, it resets everything and it's fixed, great. You just said that Enterprise is in an alternate timeline then. Why are you arguing with me? Your argument is that it's in an alternate timeline. And in fact, Darren, because you've said that a lot of times, Darren, talking about the Cold War thing. If the Cold War is the cause, then Enterprise is clearly in an alternate timeline because they were trying to fix it. 5 years from now, channels like yours will make Trek movies and shows. That would be awesome. 5 years from now, I'd be down for making a movie. Hold on, I need to change my communicator to watch a live stream from Earth. Yes. Charge my communicator, yes. Although a Mirror Darkly firmly establishes Enterprise as being the prime canon timeline. No, Mirror Darkly doesn't take place in our universe. It takes place in the Mirror universe, and you could argue that that was in an alternate timeline of the Mirror universe, because there's an infinite number of universes, right? Mirror Darkly only establishes that the Defiant came through into the Mirror universe. Since it doesn't take place in the same universe as Prime, that episode means nothing as far as that's concerned. He skipped my comment, unsubbing. Cool. See you later. Galactic Transporters and Spore Drive. Oh, don't even get me started on that. Darth Kilhoun says he skipped dozens of mine. Yeah, I admit it. I'm bad about that. Sometimes when the chat gets going too much, I do my best, but I try. Darren says you make valid and good points. Well, thank you, Darren. And you know what? So do you. And I understand that the problem is that it never got resolved, right? If Enterprise had been allowed to run its full 7 years, maybe we'd be having a totally different conversation. Unfortunately, thanks to Les Moonves, that did not happen. If someone gave you $50 million for a budget of a Star Trek TV show, how many seasons of your Star Trek could you make if you spent your budget wisely? Well, I actually... it's kind of funny because I'm working on a video about almost exactly that, and so now I'm going to have to scrap it. Now, I could do 2 seasons if we were doing 25 episodes a season. I could do $1 million an episode. Which, by the way, when adjusted for inflation, is cheaper than the original series. The original series, adjusted for inflation, was about $1.3 million per episode. Comm badges don't need a lot of power, just very efficient with its power use. Well, much more efficient than this bad boy. Number 98,678 of Mr. Miles unsubbing. Yes, if Mr. Miles had just never unsubbed, I would have almost 100,000 subscribers right now. Surf says, please skip my comments. Multiverse is real. All right, will do. But Cybok is cool. He frees people of their pains. Cybok is interesting in that respect. I mean, because I always thought that he was just basically doing a quickie version of the Vulcan mind meld to help people with, like, you know, to, like, trick them into thinking that their whatever psychological pains they had wasn't a problem or something. And I see Mr. Miles is now following me again on Twitter. I have this disease where I have a tendency to believe the things I want to be true are true. Lots of people have this disease. Everybody has that disease, Darren. Everybody. And somebody that says they don't have that disease is lying to you. We all tend to believe things that we want to be true, right? That's why millions of Democrats and millions of Republicans are absolutely convinced that they're going to win the next election. Because they have to believe it, because that's what they want. I think you need more than 50 million to make a good series, say 7 seasons. Well, yeah, but I was asked how many episodes could I do with 50 million. Now, if you want 7 seasons, I would need at least 3.5 million based on my budget. Or, I'm sorry, 3.5 million. I would need 350 million. However, what you would do is all I need is give me the 25 million to do season 1, and then we'll take it from there. And if it does well, awesome. If it doesn't do well, then you don't spend the other 300 million. I think you need more than 50 million to make. Oh, I already read that. David Tennant, Doctor Who, is supposed to be in season 5 of Enterprise. David Tennant was going to be in it. I did not know that. So in another universe, Anti-Tracker has answered everyone's chats. That is true, but also in that universe, I am actually a 6-foot piece of poop. Anyone with a small channel want to make a drunk Trek history with me? You know, I thought about that would be so fun to do something like that. To get somebody that knows an episode inside and out, but then get them completely hammered and try to describe the plot of that episode. I thought that would be actually a lot of fun. Wrong, the turd party will win. Well, yes, of course. I wish Kirk asked Spock in Trek 5, do you have any other brothers and sisters? He could say no, and then no, burn them. That would make sense. But you know what? They just say, oh, he was lying. Because he can't face the fact that he has a sister because he's so traumatized because she said he was a poo-poo head. I believe this is a dream, and my real body is in a world where the German Kaiser rules the world. Well, you'd be wrong about that, Darth, but nice try. Enter, I've been making an effort to follow and unfollow you once a day on Twitter during a live stream because I'm evil. You are evil. That much I'll agree with you on. I believe Michael Burnham will be slapped with a rubber dildo in the next episode because I want it to be true. That would be really funny is if somebody hits her with something that's like a long shaft type of thing. New Doctor Who started in 2005. Enterprise was over before Tennant took the role. Yeah, that makes sense. That's what I'm saying. I didn't know if David Tennant was going to be on the show. That's cool. Surf says he's always hammered. I kind of doubt that. Yes, Ed Trigger thought about a drunk Trek history because I pitched it to him like 4 months ago. Did you? I don't remember that, but I will take your word for it because my memory is crap. I think I might have made a video earlier. Got to check. Yeah, I know that feeling. In the Mirror Universe, Anti-Tracker also has no beard. Beard in one universe means none in the other. Unless you're a hipster. Anti-Tracker, the season of Discovery is supposed to be about time travel. Leland mentioned time travel in the last episode, so the end of the season, everything will be fixed. No, he did not. I have to go back and rewatch, but I don't think Leland actually mentioned time travel. He only mentioned tachyons. And that means that... Oh, I think you're right. I think they might have said that opens the possibility of time travel or something. But we'll see. And checker, Leslie, life's a dream for the one who sleeps. That's very true. I think one of the problems with CBS STD is that they use the continuity mistakes of previous shows as an excuse to ignore continuity entirely. Well, it goes beyond that, though, Darren, because the other shows, like you said earlier when we first started our arguing about Enterprise, I am completely with you that the continuity mistakes in Enterprise, in TNG, in DS9, and in Voyager are just that. Mistakes. Writers who it slipped their mind or they forgot to do a little bit of research or whatever. On Discovery, it is intentional. It is clearly intentional because they have to go out of their way to find the most trivial little things and then crap on it. Like the line about Cestus 3. Now, the line about Cestus 3 really, really pissed me off because according to this episode, now keep in mind this 10 years before the original series, and Pike was saying, oh, I thought you were up to your eyeballs in alligators on Cestus 3. Now, first of all, an alligator sounds like a slang term for a Gorn, and Cestus 3 is where the Gorns attacked. You have two problems here. One is that nobody knew about the Gorn until the episode Arena. Although they already crapped on that one last season because Lorca has a Gorn skeleton, but just in case you weren't sure, they had to have him in one episode point out that's a Gorn, right? So they made it absolutely true. That's a Gorn in his office. Number 2, Cestus 3 was built in Gorn space, and the Gorn reacted by destroying Cestus 3. Are you telling me that they waited 10 years? That they were like, they invaded our space? I'll give them a decade. We'll see if they leave. No. I'm sorry. Foley tried to be a Wookiee in episode 3, but was rejecting for unknown reason. Well, the problem is that hair cannot stick to Foley. Will we see Cybok in Discovery? We should. Did we get you drunk on your live stream review the last Discovery episode? No, I was not. I was feeling a little bit, but I was not drunk. A man who trusts can never be betrayed, only mistaken. That's an interesting statement, but not true. Admiral Cornwell has nice hair. She looks like my 7th grade teacher, Mrs. Turnbull. I don't think she has nice hair, but that's just a matter of personal taste. Discovery doesn't just make mistakes, they purposely make them. I can forgive something unintentional, but not something intentional. That's the problem I have, is that they have to go out of their way to do it. Enterprise actually corrected mistakes that DS9 made. DS9 changed the eugenics war by about 100 years, and Enterprise reestablished it as having taken place in the 90s. Yeah, and that's the thing. I'm okay with that kind of thing. But I'm not okay with like I said, even if you want to, if they came out tomorrow and said that Discovery's in an alternate timeline from every other Trek, I would be okay with that, even though I think it would fit better if Enterprise was in the alternate timeline as well. That being said, I don't think they're going to do that. So, Sexton 31 knew about a potential hostile enemy and failed to inform the rest of the Federation. Way to keep the Federation safe by any means necessary. Well, Section 31 apparently is not even a secret anymore. Well, and here's the thing. So, it was a secret in the era of Enterprise. It was a secret in the era of DS9, but it's not a secret during the Discovery years. Whatever. I would like to see a Cybok original series. Well, it couldn't be any worse than what we're getting now. I just got an email from the website for the stream just now. Wow, we're gonna have to slap Bird of Prey a little bit. My favorite Enterprise mistake was the use of the Katinga class during the Enterprise era. Yeah, but things like that I can forgive a little easier. Just like, I mean, like Castile wearing a Star Trek II phaser. I never even noticed that until just now. I'm not going to freak out about it. It's just kind of funny to me. Because I get it. They just wanted a prop phaser that looked not like the TNG phasers. Why don't they just pull a Warhammer 40K where the continuity is thrown out the window because it's just so huge of a universe? Well, actually, there's a good reason for that. And this is the problem with Kurtzman and CBS and all that. And what they really don't understand. Star Trek has lore beyond almost any other franchise, right? Star Trek has been going since the 60s. And it has built up over 50 years of history. And all these wonderful stories. They've actually, and I think Nerdrotic was talking about this on a video not too long ago, and he's absolutely right. They passed the baton from Kirk to Picard to Sisko to Janeway to Archer successfully. Do you have any idea how difficult that is to do? Because if you make an incredibly popular TV show, and then you say, let's make another show with a completely different cast, but just have it be about the same basic premise only 100 years later, nobody's going to watch it. But amazingly, people watch Star Trek The Next Generation and Deep Space Nine and all the rest. It grew instead of died. And the people, but none of this happened under the watch of CBS. I mean, CBS was minutely involved in the production of DS9 on, but CBS didn't get that stuff started, right? CBS just kind of inherited it. And CBS doesn't understand that. They don't understand the importance of the history of Trek, and so they knowingly and purposely crap all over it. So is Alex Kurtzman purposely putting in purposely, I think, putting in continuity errors in Star Trek Discovery to destroy the franchise and give a FU to the hardcore Trek fans? I don't know what the motivation is. I really don't know what the motivation is, except to think that, I mean, I'm trying to think of it from their perspective. I don't think they want to destroy the franchise because CBS, like every corporation, wants to make money. I don't think that they don't want to make money. So I'm thinking that they genuinely just believe that the kids want something new. They don't want a rehash of that old Trek, so we got to redesign everything. We'll make it shinier and explodier and louder. And they really think that that's going to attract more viewers. Memory lore. According to Star Trek Star Charts, page 52, an Earth colony was the first founded on the Class M planet Cestus 3 in 2265. Well, 2265 is, that would be during the second season of the original series, wouldn't it? I always get my stupid calendar mixed up with Star Trek, so let's go to the official Star Trek crap online. Let's see, Star Trek 2265. Alright. So 2265 is the year that David Marcus was born, apparently. Let's see. Klingons and Federation sign a peace treaty in 2265 in the episode Day of the Dove. So yes, that is during the original series. So there you go. Let's see. I would also point out that Section 31 of Enterprise and DS9 weren't Starfleet. They used Starfleet operatives, but they were part of the Federation Constitution. Well, they're actually part of the Starfleet Charter. That's actually one that I screwed up a little bit. They're not part of the Federation. They are actually integrated into Starfleet. They didn't have the model ready for the D5 in that Enterprise episode. Yeah, but... And they did the same thing with the Enterprise incident because the model for the Romulan bird of prey was damaged, so they used D7 models, but they threw in a line to explain it. Katinga was Enterprise quick budget last minute FX fix. Yes. I already read your last comment, so thank you, Sci-Fi. They don't outright say, but it's heavily implied in the episode that the colony is new. Yes. Trigger, because the Gorn were actually said that they were reacting to them putting the colony there. Trigger, how would you fix everything in Star Trek canon? Did a video about the timeline. Basically, all you really need to do is, number one, assume the timeline that I put up there is real. So for those of you that don't know, I will bring up that timeline because why the hell not? Let me see. Let me go to, let's see. And where the heck is it? And now I just got to find my own crap here. Well, that didn't sound good. Let's see. There he is. Here it is. Rewriting the Star Trek timeline. And of course, now we got a stupid commercial. So let me mute that so you don't have to listen to the commercial. But I want to show you what I was thinking of. Because what about Kirk's brother? Show about him? Well, you could do that, but I don't know that it would go anywhere. All right, so here is... Let me go to full screen on this and bring it... Okay, so here's the timeline according to everything that we've gotten officially from CBS and Paramount. So, looking at this rough timeline, we have the launch of the Botany Bay over here. And then in 2063, First Contact. 2151 is when Enterprise took place. We'll skip this for now. 2256 is when Discovery takes place. 2265, when Cestus 3 was built, is when the original series takes place. 2364, TNG. And then 2387, the destruction of Romulus. During the destruction of Romulus, Nero and Spock go back in time to 2233, where the USS Kelvin is destroyed, creating a new timeline where Vulcan is destroyed, and in 2263, the 1701A is launched. All right. So that is the timeline as it was, as it's always been presented to us. So the way that I propose we change the timeline is this. So we have the Botany Bay, First Contact in 2063, 2100, the primitive Romulan era war. All right. That's when the war, the big war with nuclear vessels and all that takes place. 2200 to 2250, the decades-long war with the Klingons, as mentioned by Picard in the episode First Contact. He said there was a decades, plural, long war with the Klingons. He did not say a Cold War. He did not say heavy tension. No, he said a war, and it was disastrous. 2254, the Cage. 2265, the TOS era. 2364, the TNG episode. 2387, the destruction of Romulus. Nero and Spock go back. But here's the catch. Right after TNG, the Enterprise E and the Borg go back in time in the episode or in the movie First Contact to 2063, creating an alternate timeline, which is where Enterprise takes place, because there was no primitive Romulan war in this timeline. There was no decades-long war in this timeline. Instead, we have the Enterprise era, then Discovery, and then the TNG film era. Hence, everything after First Contact is in this timeline. And then the destruction of Romulus, Nero, and Spock go back in time. Kelvin is destroyed. Same old crap, right? That's my timeline that I created for this video a while back. So, and let's see, Thomas says, I'm anti-trigger. 2151 to 2265 is 114, so it was a century, and the war started in 2156. Not sure what your time was. 2151 is 114 years, so it was a century. Okay, oh yeah, I see. You could say it was a century, yes, but you can't say primitive ships with no visual communications and nuclear weapons. Now, how would you... Now, here's the thing. All of this timeline that I have up on the screen right now, you don't have to change anything that we've seen on screen. You could just say, this is what happened. However, here's what you should be doing right now. Is, now that we're in the blue timeline, the Star Trek Discovery era of the blue timeline, you have to have something that refers to this as being an alternate timeline, similar to what they did in Star Trek 2009, when they actually made it perfectly clear to the audience that this is an alternate timeline created through the time travel that of Spock going back in time and Nero and all that. You could have something get uncovered to where that relates back to, in fact, since everybody's been clamoring about it, bring the Borg into Discovery. They could bring up the records from Enterprise, who in turn had records from First Contact, and they can make a big deal about how, these guys came from the future. They created an alternate timeline. Bam. Anti-Trigger, your timeline makes sense. Mine looks like a conspiracy wall and strings and newspaper. Well, I did that video a while ago, but I was very proud of it, actually. But if Nero went back, which timeline did he change since JJ versus so advanced? Well, no, that's the point of this. If you look at it, so look, when we jump timelines, so we have, we'll start with, okay, so we have Prime Canon, right? So Prime Canon is original series, TNG, Deep Space Nine, Voyager. Okay. Now, in First Contact, they go back to 2063. that creates an alternate timeline. Now, here's what happens in my headcanon of this, is that because of the Borg, because and remember, in Enterprise, they're very clear that Zephyr Cochrane is running around telling people that cyborgs from the future were trying to enslave us all, but humans from the future saved our butts. So there's got to be corruption of the timeline there, because Cochrane is out there blabbing about it. However, so because of this, Starfleet, instead of focusing on warp drive technology, starts focusing more on weapons technology, which is why the NX-01 has phase cannons and photonic missiles, because their weapons are more advanced. They also begin developing more advanced communication systems. So they have visual communication much earlier in the Enterprise era, and they have holographic communication much earlier in Star Trek Discovery. Now, that also explains why then, if the Nero, the Nero and Spock going back goes back to this alternate timeline, that explains why in Star Trek 2009, their tech, just like on Discovery, appears more advanced. Because it is more advanced in everything except warp drive. Because if you notice, and this is an interesting factoid, warp drive is not more advanced in the JJ films. In fact, you could argue it's less advanced. Cochrane later recanted the story. Yes, but that doesn't, you see, that the thing is that all that information floated. You really think Section 31 is going to say, oh, okay, it was just a joke? No, I think that that would actually make sense. So in the Enterprise timeline, did Zephyr and Cochrane get lost on the planet with a woman where Kirk and Spock found them? No, and that's another thing that gets fixed by this, because Zephyr and Cochrane never went to Alpha Centauri in the First Contact timeline. Multi-Gunman says, brilliant explanation and setup, Anti-Tracker. You should be writing for Discovery and not the retards that are currently writing it. I would tend to agree with you, but unfortunately, CBS will not hire me for reasons. Anti-Tracker, Star Trek Discovery is a result of a faction of the temporal Cold War, what succeeded. Well, but that's the thing. So the temporal Cold War thing in Enterprise certainly lends itself to working within this as well. So, in fact, I'm actually working on the early plannings of a time warp series about Trek, and to try and unravel all the potential timelines that we've seen. But if Picard going back in time, starting the Discovery timeline, which timeline did Nero start when he went back? He started, and again, look at the chart. So the gold timeline is Prime. Okay, so the gold timeline is the original series, TNG, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager. That's it. The blue timeline is Enterprise, Star Trek Discovery, and the TNG films. The red timeline is the Kelvin timeline that was created by Nero and Spock going back in time just before Star Trek Discovery. And so that's so there are three distinct timelines. The Kelvin timeline is an offshoot from the alternate timeline, which gave us Discovery. What happened if Sybok had survived and became Federation president? Well, that's actually, that could be an interesting, in the temporal Cold War. Unfortunately, this was going to be in Season 5 of Enterprise, but they just didn't get around to it, is that in Season 5 of Enterprise, they were going to have Archer talk to Future Guy and figure out a way to send a bomb through their time portal, killing Future Guy. However, this had the unfortunate side effect of whenever you put something through there, something else has to come back, and Future Guy was holding Sybok prisoner. And so Sybok ended up coming back in time to Archer's era and immediately relieved Archer of all the pain that he had because of the fact that Archer was so pissed off at Vulcans, and he suddenly started loving Vulcans, and he took Sybok to Earth and said, look, finally a Vulcan we can trust, and he became president of the Federation almost overnight, because here's the thing. The Vulcans didn't like him very much, but the Tellarites and the humans loved him, because finally you have somebody with all the intelligence and abilities of a Vulcan, but is relatable. And so they immediately voted him in. Sybok took over the Federation. Unfortunately, Sybok then immediately got on a ship, flew out towards Romulus, and got on the communicator saying, "Hey, tell me about your pain." And the Romulans were like, "Oh, yeah, we'll talk about some pain." And then they invaded the Federation, and everybody died. I get it now. Although I'd like to keep Enterprise. I know I'm the minority, but I'd actually really like that show. Well, no, that's the thing. I'm not saying dump Enterprise, and in fact, but the problem is that the tech in Enterprise, just like the tech on STD, is too advanced for the timeline. And so that's why my motivation for putting Enterprise in the alternate timeline was not because I was dissing Enterprise. And that's why, and I know Darren has a problem with it, but Darren knows that I actually like Enterprise. It's not a diss on Enterprise. It's just that if you look at it realistically, the timeline fits better with Enterprise in an alternate timeline. But even that's better than Star Trek Discovery. Thank you. Your God is nowhere. How did you know this info on Enterprise Season 5, Andy Checker? Oh, well, I have friends that work in the the temporal... Gosh, no, I can't remember what's the name of the temporal police? Dang, I can't remember now what they're called. The Office of Temporal Investigations or something. So... And don't worry, you guys, don't worry. I'm pretty sure that Daniel doesn't think that I actually have secret knowledge of Season 5. Darren says, I'm over it. That's cool. Ponfar Sybok went to Risa and left the Federation on holidays. Everyone had the day off. Wow, that would be scary. In the timelines, you forgot the original series movies. No, because the original series movies simply take place as they did originally in between the Cage, or in between the TOS era and the TNG era. So none of that's all still part of Prime. It's the TNG films and Enterprise and Discovery that are on the alternate. Andrew Trigger, why doesn't CBS embrace the idea of multiple timelines to Trek? If it's a good show, but not part of the Prime timeline, we'll still watch it. Absolutely. And because CBS doesn't, they really don't. That's the problem. The people at CBS, I think, genuinely don't understand the importance of continuity and canon to the fan base. They don't appreciate what they've built with the empire that is Star Trek, because they didn't build it, right? Paramount built it. Desilu built it. But CBS inherited it, and then they didn't know what to do with it, so they pissed it away. How Sybok could free Tribbles from their pain. Well, Sybok, it's kind of funny because Sybok is the only person who's actually gotten the Tribbles to be able to live in harmony, because the Tribbles, one thing that most people don't realize is that Tribbles suffer from incredible manic depression, and that's why they eat so much. And so when Sybok started mind melding with Tribbles and getting them over their depression, they stopped eating, and they lived in harmony with humans ever since. Earth Romulan Roar 2156 2160. I also don't remember Khan. Can you make a video about your service in the eugenics war? Well, yes, I did. I actually did serve during the eugenics wars. It was kept under wraps. Whole populations being bombed out of existence, and nobody realized it during the Clinton years. I would have believed you if you had said you got all your info from Star Trek Discovery Section 31. Yes. And the funny thing is that in the Discovery era, there's an 800 number that's 1-800-31 to get a hold of Section 31. Oh my God, I can't wait for your time vids explaining more. Well, cool, thank you. I can't wait to get to that, but I got a lot of other work to do, too. Sci-Fi Sis says, read my last comment. What did I miss this time, Sci-Fi? Where is it? I don't see it. Is there, in fact, 4 timelines with the Mirror Universe? Well, the Mirror Universe I didn't count because that's... that everybody knows the Mirror Universe is not part of the main timeline. It's just a... but although in my time travel series, I'm going to theorize about the creation of it. Same thing happened to Marvel Comics. Are you talking about the various universes that Marvel's had? Yes. Antchecker was supposed to be a writer in season 5 and 6 of Discovery, but they were cheap and wouldn't pay him with a Bud Light instead of Crown Royal. Yeah, exactly. If they just give me Crown Royal, I'd be writing for him right now. 1-800-Alexa, call Mom. Can you explain to us the Victorian Baboon Woman timeline? Well, the Victorian Baboon Woman timeline is kind of it is impossible to truly explain, Alexander, mainly because the Victorian Baboon Woman actually, but what you don't realize is that she is made of mycelial spores. And so she is the timeline. World War III already happened. Yes, very true. In the Mad Max alternate timeline, yes. I've suddenly become a Cybok fan. That is scary. No, Marvel Comics shot all over their own continuity, just like Star. Oh, yes. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yes, Marvel Comics did a bunch of reboots. Marvel Comics has sucked for a while. I stopped reading comic books by around 1992 or so. I'm ready to buck up a truck at that crown at your house. Oh, back up a truck at the crown. Okay, well, thank you. All right, guys, I do need to wrap it up. It is getting really late. It's almost 1 a.m., and I got to get up in about 4 hours. So the TNG films happened in the Enterprise timeline. Yes, but the TNG films... and that's... yeah, that's the idea. Mecha Random is in the house. Just Mecha Random, you always come in right when I'm getting ready to sign off. What is up with that? How Cybok could free the Victorian Baboon Woman of her pain. That's another interesting one, because he couldn't. Because the Victorian Baboon Woman, being made of mycelial spores, is incapable of feeling pain. Also, you also... to answer the question of your stream title, no. and you always leave what I gave. Well, you come so late. It's like almost 1 o'clock in the morning, and I got to get up at 5. So, I mean, I can't, I can only stay up so late. Now, if I ever get to a point, Mecha, where I'm doing this full time, I will have no problem staying up for a couple more hours just for you. But until then, I do have to, be real about it. But it is great to see you, Mecha, even though it's right at the end. For the rest of you, thank you all for hanging out with me. You guys are awesome, every single one of you. And, I mean, I wouldn't be here if not for you guys, and that's the truth. And I love being here. So take care and have a wonderful whatever the hell it is in your time zone. Because I still have no outro at all. I don't know what to say at the end of my shows.
I have got something better! I have got something better!
And Alexander puts a couple of his fake Canadian bucks in, says Cybok should have his own mega chat. I don't know what I would do with Cybok, though. I'll have to think of something. And Sci-Fi Sith puts his traditional... live long and prosper. May the force be with you. And by the way, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Although you were a little late, you should have done that before, Alexander. So, Alexander, what super chat reward would you like, my friend? Who wanted to do drunk Trek history with me? Darth, someone. Well, Darth Kilhoun's here. He might do it with you. Be gone, or I have spoken. Oh yeah, for my sign off. So. Stop passing my comment. I didn't. Have Cybok ask Burnham to... sure. Ooh, now, if Cybok tried to get... Maybe, there we go. Cybok learned how to get rid of people's pain by experimenting on Michael Burnham, and that's why Michael Burnham is so awesome. She literally cannot feel pain. Can I have Mega Chat number 5? You can, because you've given a few times without asking for anything, so... Brace yourselves. I hope that your ears are in one piece, because here it comes. Midi-chlorians versus mycelium spores. Same thing.
The board vessel's moving into range.
On screen.
Let's get lost in that magic place all alone now. Drink a fill from my fountain of love, wet your lips. I'm a man, I'm a teaser, I'm a man, well I'm a virgin, I'm a man, I'm a one-night stand, a man, I'm a man, I'm a man, I'm a girl, I'm a dream divine, make love together.
He's dead.
And Zachary says Mega Chat 5 means turning on the surround sound. Nice. Alright guys, so since you seem to love lore so much,
Morty, sing it! Morty, sing it! Morty, sing it! Morty, sing it! Morty, sing it!